It was only 50 years ago that we made our first journey to the moon. It was the first time we gazed back at our home planet. The global population has more than twice increased since that time. This series will highlight the remaining natural marvels and show what we need to protect so both humanity and nature can flourish. Around 10,000 years ago, as humans began forming their first settlements, the land and seas teemed with life. For countless generations, this steady paradise supported the rise of human civilizations. Yet within a single human lifetime, everything has been transformed. Over the past 50 years, wildlife numbers have dropped by an average of 60%. For the first time ever, humanity can no longer assume that nature's balance will endure. Yet nature has a remarkable ability to recover. Much wealth still endures. With our support, the Earth can heal. It has never been more crucial to grasp how nature functions. In a handful of treasured places, wildlife still thrives in remarkable abundance. On the Peruvian coastline of South America, seabirds gather in colonies numbering in the millions. They arrive here to reproduce. Each morning, the birds depart their colonies to feed in one of the world's most bountiful seas. This is an incredible daily journey made by 5 million birds. Vast flocks of cormorants and boobies are all after the same thing. Anchovies. the boobies dive-bomb the shoals in a relentless assault. An increasing number of birds join the chaotic feast. This immense congregation exists thanks to the powerful Humboldt current, sweeping up from Antarctica with a bounty of nutrients from deep beneath the sea. The majority of marine life, about 90%, lives in shallow coastal waters. Far from shore, the oceans are largely a barren blue expanse. Yet even these remote waters can be nourished by an unlikely link to the land. Certain deserts, sometimes located hundreds of kilometers inland, supply the essential ingredients for life. Supplying the nutrients essential for the microscopic organisms that underpin all ocean life. Dolphins roam the wide open seas, seeking the bounty that far-off deserts may have helped create. A school of mackerel has come across a dense swarm of krill, tiny crustaceans that feed on the ocean's drifting microscopic plants. However, the mackerel are prey for the dolphins. They herd the mackerel upward to the surface, putting them within reach of the birds. Sheer waters. The wings that normally propel the birds through the air now force them 6 meters beneath the surface. Once the birds have taken the fish from the top of the shoal, the dolphins strike from below. After 20 minutes of feeding, the hunters from sea and sky are satisfied. The balance of life on Earth depends on these links between diverse habitats. Moisture rising from the sea's surface condenses into towering clouds. Eventually, these clouds release their fresh water as rain. However, this nourishing rainfall does not fall evenly across the land. This immense African salt pan is the last remnant of a once great lake. Completely devoid of water and scorching hot, few places on Earth are as inhospitable to life. Scattered tracks cut across it, left by animals desperately seeking water, but finding none. Yet, from time to time, this entire landscape undergoes a transformation. A massive downpour soaks the salt pan. Guided by an unexplained cue, flocks of lesser flamingos journey thousands of kilometers to arrive here. The algae that sustain the flamingos have remained inactive as spores in the dust. Above all else, the birds have gathered here to reproduce. Ideal conditions may happen just once every 10 years. The birds build their nests on a remote island away from the coastline. They construct mud mounds to elevate their eggs, which helps keep them slightly cooler than if laid directly on the ground. The surrounding water's high salinity deters predators, keeping the nests secure. After 30 days, thousands of chicks begin to emerge from their eggs. However, nothing shields them from the blazing Sunday. The water that once encircled their island, offering protection, has completely vanished. The final hatchlings emerge into a world that is painfully harsh. Must find fresh water to drink. Unable to fly, they are forced to walk, led by a few adults. Their trek could extend up to 50 kilometers. Some cannot keep up. The salt has solidified around their legs. Despite all hardships and days of walking, most of the chicks finally arrive at fresh water. It is the final stage of a lengthy trek. But this is merely the first challenge these flamingos will face due to the unpredictability of the rains. If the rains arrive with consistency, life can prosper in greater abundance, in terms of both abundance and diversity. More than 1 million wildebeest thrive on the Serengeti plains of East Africa. The herds move with the seasonal rains, feeding on the fresh grasses that spring up in their path. Each year, within a 3-week period, the females give birth to over 250,000 calves. This youngster, only a few days old, plays to strengthen its legs for the long journey ahead. The calf must remain close to its mother. Without her milk, it would not survive. And the herds are always traveling. They follow the rains as they sweep across the plains, always in search of fresh grazing. In time, their journey brings them to the woodlands. Hunting dogs. Wildebeest calves are among the predator's favorite prey. And the wild dogs are ravenous. The young calf must remain by its mother's side, shielded within the safety of the herd. Dogs have incredible stamina, but the herd rises to defend the calf. They need to cough on its own. The mother blocks the dogs, shielding her calf. It breaks away, sprinting for safety. And it just manages to reach the safety of the herd. The future of this great migration depends entirely on the rhythm of the rains. But it also depends on the survival of the vast open grasslands, across which the herds undertake their immense journeys. Where rainfall is plentiful and constant, forests flourish. And in the warmth of the tropics, they sustain a richness of life that has no equal anywhere on Earth. Half of all land-dwelling animal species live within these stable worlds. The sheer diversity here is nothing short of breathtaking. We still haven't catalogued all the species that inhabit the tropical forests. The relationships between them are vast and complex. Plants often rely on animals to pollinate their flowers. And these intimate connections are every bit as vital as the great global ones. These are ingenious traps, flowers shaped like buckets, crafted by a remarkable orchid. Every red bucket brims with an oily liquid that drips down from above. Male orchid bees need a rich perfume to impress and attract their females. And the orchids provide it. But the bucket is slippery. and the oily fluid the bee has tumbled into is clinging and sticky. The only escape lies through a narrow tunnel. As it emerges, the bee is gripped tight. And that gives enough time for the plant to attach its pollen to the bee. In this way, the orchid has its pollen transported to another flower. In return, the bee receives a fragrant reward, which, after recovering, will help it attract a mate. There are no pronounced seasons in the rainforest. It produces food in one form or another all year round. It is so abundant that the females of some birds can raise their young entirely on their own, allowing the males to devote all their time to attracting mates. Like living mannequins, there are over 50 different species, each performing its own highly elaborate dance routine. The golden-collared mannequin begins by clearing his dance floor. A female arrives, and he launches into his routine, rocketing from one perch to another. She examines every detail with careful attention. Finally, he delivers his signature move, the backflip. With twist. The red-capped mannequin, however, has a very different act. It's a kind of slither. With wing snaps. But it certainly seems to be working. She's seen enough. The most complex routine is performed by the blue mannequin. The lead male is assisted by 3 junior dancers. They rehearse their moves almost every day. During rehearsals, a young male in juvenile plumage plays the role of the female. The dance must be performed in perfect synchrony. With the lead male happy, they're finally ready to perform their dance for a watching female.